I will Bradley here, myself life, and breaking news. Apple is getting sued by the DOJ antitrust for monopoly. So I figured out I have to get my take. I have to put in my 2 cents, throw in my 2 cents, my views, my view on that. Now, before anybody say, well, I'm just hating, I don't know what I'm talking about. I got an Apple Watch, I got an iPhone. I use, and I have Android. I use their platform and I like it. I really like it. I love the Apple Watch. I really love this watch. I did a video on that Apple Watch. You can go take a look at it. I love it. Now, so let's speak from general, my tech point of view and everything, and what the DOJ is really suing. And here's I'm gonna take my important takes pointers from it, and I'll speak about it. First off, iMessage, messaging. So I don't know if you remembered at this conference, this long time ago, I can't remember how many years ago, but a dude stands up and says, his mom, how do he communicate with his mom, which doesn't have an iPhone? It's terrible for him. And Tim Cook's response was like, buy your mom an iPhone. Okay, fine. You go to court hearings, you go to court cases, epic court case, other filings in court. They ask you about iMessage and giving it and allowing Android to use it. And they would say, they said, quote unquote, if we do that, we're gonna lose customers. So they know iMessage is a gatekeeper. They know iMessage keeps their users intact. And of course, there's this green bubble, blue bubble thing, and there's a lot of bullying happening. If kids at school, even grown folks, even I remember I was on X, Twitter/X, and a guy says, if you don't have an iPhone, we cannot do business. It sucks. And a lot of people I've spoken to said that if they don't have iPhones, they can't. People don't want to do business with them. And Android does everything. But anyway, let me sticking to the point. Sticking on topic. Back to iMessage. Apple knows that, and the fact that they're making the experience for Android users, I won't say for Android users, but for Apple users that communicate with Android, the fact that they're making the experience, they're breaking the experience, making it terrible. Users don't want to communicate with Android, right? So locking people out of groups and all of that. Now, good thing Apple is finally going to RCS, but if the EU didn't pressure them, they wouldn't have done it. They would have stuck to their guns. And I got a rant to deal with in the end, but stick to the end. Got a rant. Okay. So that's iMessage. If they just made it, open it up properly. So that's all people want. Communication. That's all they want. Communication. But Apple don't want to do that. Okay. The App Store. Now they're saying, well, as far as for my opinion, the App Store is Apple can do what they want. I mean, it's their house. It's their house. They can charge you. Google charges you 30%, right? So why can't Apple charge 30%? But that's how I feel, right? So if you want to use the App Store, their App Store, great. I have no problem with that. The issue is third parties. Allow third party app stores on your platform, so the user doesn't have to go through your app store to get the apps they want. Google does that. So Google doesn't have a monopoly on the App Store. You can F-Droid, Aptoid. You can install so many third-party app stores, and you could download the APKs. The APKs are available online from APK Pure and all these sites. You can download the APKs. Google don't block them. They're fine. iOS, on the other hand, you cannot do it. So that's the issue. Allow third-party app stores on your device, and you'll be fine. Now, then that issue, but they always say security, security, security. That's old and tired. That's just an excuse. If your device is so secure, what are you worried about? iOS isn't secure. If you go on Apple's website and you look at the update page, right now I'm running the betas. I'm on a beta 17.4 on my iPhone. If you see the list of bug fixes that they addressed, it's long. Google has nothing on, Android has nothing on bugs. No. But it's ridiculous. And also, not just on the betas, but just on normal. Just go on the page. Just go on the page. Trust me. The list. So when Apple say about security, oh, the Apple security, no, that's marketing. That is all marketing to make you feel like, oh, the iPhone is so secure. iOS is so secure. It's not. It's not. Smartwatches, that's the point. They talk about smartwatches and their experience on iOS. I can attest to that. I have an Apple Watch, so I'm not just speaking from outside. I'm not speaking from just outside. I'm inside. I'm in the walled garden. And I'll tell you, with the two of these things together, chef's kiss. Chef's kiss. They work so they work so nice, so seamless. They just work. It just work. But there's a reason why Samsung and Google and OnePlus, there's a reason why their watches don't work on iOS, because it's hampered. TicWatch, Mobvoi, Fossil, Amazfit, these watches work with iOS, but it's crippled. They don't have access to calls and all. There's a bunch of restrictions that prevent them from working as good as that. They do. And Apple knows, and this, let me tell you, if this could have worked with Android, it would have sold. Apple would have sold so many of these watches. But no, if you want this, you gotta get that. So that's a tie-in right there, right? But apart from that, it's just the fact that anything else that tries to communicate, tries to work with the iPhone, it doesn't. It's just a bad experience. So what else is there? What else is there? Oh, and speaking of smartwatches, remember Massimo? That's just part of the antitrust. Apple steals a lot of companies' technology. They do. They come in, let's work together, and then literally they'll just abandon them. When they get what they want, they'll just abandon. They have stolen technology in the past. Massimo is one of the companies actually fighting them, because the oxygen reader, the oxygen sensor on this is Massimo's technology that's there. But Apple in the same figure, we can take them to court. Massimo's willing to risk it all, because when you're a small company and Apple takes your technology, Apple takes it for their own, do you have the money to fight them? You don't. Apple is worth trillions. You don't have the money to fight them. So that's just the reality. of it, right? So, what else? The wall garden. The wall garden is real. I'm talking from experience, and I've seen it. Macs, iPads, everything works in that wall garden, that ecosystem. And Apple does it deliberately because they hamper, like I said, the DOJ made a point where the way Apple operates is that it's not innovation. It's stifling, stagnation in the sense that they make it work within the ecosystem at the same time breaking everything else. You cannot send a photo via Bluetooth to another user. AirDrop, that's the only way. So now, if you don't have an iPhone, how are you gonna AirDrop? It's terrible. It is terrible. It's just I don't know. I'm glad that this is really happening, and then we're gonna see where this goes. We're gonna see where this goes. Now, all that is about money. Look at USB-C, Lightning and USB-C. How long? If the EU didn't pressure Apple, they would have never put USB-C in the iPhone. Never. They'd have kept Lightning and keep making money from Lightning, even if it's old technology. And they have USB in iPads, they have USB in the Macs, in everything. They have USB-C. So what took them so long to still on Lightning? It's only iPhone 15 you get USB-C. So it's money. It's all about money for them. That's what it is. So on to my rant, folks. On to my rant. Viper, the man about tech. The man about tech. He made a video last night and he says the lawsuit is a joke. Okay, it's a joke. He said, oh, Apple has a legal monopoly. That's what the lawsuit is about. Well, I watched the conference and the DOJ never said it was illegal. They didn't. Maybe I need to watch it again. But they never said it. They say it was a monopoly. It goes against antitrust laws. Right? And they specifically said you can have a monopoly, but it's not against having a monopoly. It's the way they treat the competition. Because you can dominate, you can have majority. And here's what Viper says. Oh, he does a Google search, and then he picks out, he shows a 2023, as of November 2023, the market share. And it showed Apple at 58.28%. And he likes saying, ooh, that's not a monopoly. Ooh. Okay. I went and researched the same thing. And as of January 2024, Apple's stake was 61%. 61.3%. That was Apple's share, market share. And it's not. And then here's the next thing he does, right? He pulls an S24 Ultra and a OnePlus Open, and he says, "I bought this in the United States. I bought this in the United States. Where is the monopoly?" I'm like, what? Like, really? So because you bought two phones in the United States, Apple doesn't have a monopoly. That right away dismantles the argument. That squashes everything about Apple having a monopoly because you bought two phones. You could buy the nothing phone in America. You can buy a Motorola. You can buy a Pixel. But that doesn't mean Apple doesn't have a monopoly. They have a majority in America. And it's not about the phones. It's the fact that they have so many phones and they stifle the competition. Okay, so next he jumps on iMessage, and he says, "Oh, Apple doesn't dictate SMS. Everybody uses SMS. Yes, they do. Yes, they do. You all use SMS. In the US, SMS is dominant, and iMessage uses SMS, right? But the thing is, iMessage is a secured protocol, a step above SMS. SMS is old-fashioned. That's why you go Google is trying to push RCS, trying to make everybody use RCS, Rich Communication Services. So you get a better experience. It's encrypted. You can react. You can drop emojis. You can share high-quality videos and all of that. You cannot do that on SMS. And Viper knows very well. That's why he say he's capping. He knows very well that if I open iMessage and I send a message to an Android device, I'm not gonna see it. That Android user is not gonna see the message properly. And if that Android user in turn sends a message to the iPhone, they're not gonna see it properly. And Apple does it deliberately. You can't react, no emojis, nothing like that. The experience has been degraded. It's unbearable. That's why the same bullying, the green bubbles, blue bubbles nonsense. On stage, is it Phil Schiller or Craig Fegacini? One of them came out and said when they introduced iMessage, he himself said it. One of them said it. Oh, they're getting green bubbles, which you know they're inferior. They said it on stage. They know it very well, and Viper knows that. Viper is just capping. He's just capping, right? The other one, and the big one, digital wallet. So here's it. Now that's why I lost it. It's like saying, why would Apple allow digital wallets, third-party digital wallets on the iPhone? It's about privacy. It's user privacy, user security. Don't you know that? Don't you know that? You cannot allow anything. It's too sensitive. Google Pay is sensitive. Google Pay is private. So why can't Google Pay work on the iPhone? Why can't banking apps, banks, why can't their digital wallets work properly on the iPhone? And he's gonna say, step your game up. The game has been stepped up, but Apple is chopping them at the feet, cutting down their feet. So it will not work, and you have no choice but to use Apple Pay. Isn't that unfair? Doesn't that constitute antitrust? Doesn't that violate isn't that anti-competitive? It is. And you're trying to tell me Android users' data isn't as sensitive as Apple's? Really? That's your excuse? And he wants to say, oh, y'all should come better. Y'all should come better. They have been coming better. Everybody has stepped up except Apple. Apple knows very well, and this is my conclusion. Apple knows very well that the product they offer, there are better options out there. But then when you tie in your users, you show them one side of the coin and tell them that side of the coin is the best side. They wouldn't flip the coin over. They wouldn't. They'll stick to the side of the coin, then they think or they know that's the best. Because that's what they trained. That's what been drilled into them. That's what Apple tells them. This side of the coin is the best side. Don't flip on this side. No, don't flip on the other side. It's gonna be terrible. It's going to be terrible. Stick to this side. Stick into that side. But that's my take. That's my take on the whole DOJ thing, and I'm happy because the EU is doing the same thing that DOJ is doing, the EU is doing, but in a different route. They took a different path, but it's basically the same thing. So I hope this comes right because Apple really needs to open up, really needs for me to put a third-party app on this app that's not in the App Store because of my region, my location. It's hell. It takes a lot. Not a lot. It takes some work. It takes some work. It's not hard, but it takes work. So, folks, that was it. That was my take, like I said, on the whole DOJ thing. So, thanks for sitting with me. Thanks for watching. Thanks for enjoying my little rant, my little take on this whole fiasco. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun. So until next time, Bradley, myself life. I'm out.